We will now use the skills we developed in the last lesson to add and subtract rational expressions. Now, by the way, what is the skill that we developed in the last lesson? Well, you remember, you did the homework. The skill of finding the lowest common denominator of a number of denominators. In order to add and subtract rational expressions, we need to find the LCD, the lowest common denominator. Now, we will start by adding and subtracting rational expressions with the same denominator. Well, when the denominators of different rational numbers or rational expressions are all the same, the LCD will be also the same. Is that right? Okay. When the denominators are the same, the LCD is that same denominator. Now, the numerator of the answer is then obtained by adding and simplifying all the numerators of the expressions. You know that. All right, let me give you an example. 7 over 8 plus 12 over 8. Both denominators are the same. Therefore, the LCD is also the same. So the LCD is the same. And what is our numerator? You simply add the numerators of the two rational expressions. 7 plus 12. If this is minus, it will be 7 minus 12. So in this case, the numerator is 7 plus 12. The denominator is 8. And that will be 19 over 8. And this is exactly the same principle we will use in adding and subtracting rational expressions that have the same denominator. Alright, let's do this one. X plus 1 over x minus 1 minus. You've got to be very careful when you have the minus sign. 2x divided by x minus 1. What is the common denominator? Both denominators are the same. Now, we follow the same rule. Pick all the factors of the denominator without repeating. So, pick the factor x minus 1. And when you come to the next one, you say, yes, I have picked that already, so I don't need it. So the LCD is x minus 1. And what is my numerator? Watch how we construct the numerator. It will be x plus 1 minus the quantity 2x. So my numerator is x plus 1 minus 2x. Now simplify. What is x plus 1 minus 2x? X minus 2x is a negative x. So that will be negative x plus 1 over x minus 1. Now, does it sound familiar to you? Negative x plus 1 and x minus 1. Do you remember that we said earlier, some time ago, that a minus b can be written as negative of b minus a. Alright? So, negative x plus 1 is actually the same as 1 minus x. Is that right? 1 minus x. And 1 minus x can be written as negative of x minus 1. There you are. So, this negative x plus 1 is the same as 1 minus x. And our denominator is x minus 1. Alright, now we write 1 minus x is the same as negative of x minus 1. There you are. So the numerator now is negative 1 times x minus 1 divided by x minus 1. And now we can cancel the common factor x minus 1 from the numerator and the denominator. What's our answer? Answer is negative 1. a very interesting type of problem, and you must be familiar with this. So look at the transition we did here. We first of all said negative x plus 1 is the same as 1 minus x. The denominator is x minus 1. And so 1 minus x then we wrote as negative of x minus 1. Okay, let's do another one. Add negative 4x plus 6 over x squared plus x minus 6 minus 5x minus 3 over x squared plus x minus 6. Here again, the denominators are the same, and therefore the LCD will be the same. The LCD therefore is x squared plus x minus 6. So we would say this rational expression now will be equal to, the LCD is this. What is our numerator? Now watch that carefully. Numerator will be this quantity minus this quantity. When you use the minus sign, be very, very careful. After the minus sign, the quantity needs to be in a parenthesis. So first we write this quantity, negative 4x plus 6. That's the quantity. You don't need a parenthesis for that. But after the negative sign, you need a parenthesis. That will be minus parenthesis 5x minus 3. And now we distribute this negative sign. What does it mean, distribute a negative sign? It means distribute a negative 1. Alright, let's do that. So this will be negative 4x plus 6. Negative 1 times 5x is minus 5x. And this is where most of you make mistake. Negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. We distributed that negative 1. And now we can simplify the numerator. Now how would you simplify? Look at the x's. Negative 4x minus 5x. What does that give you? Negative 4x minus 5x. That would be negative 9x. And 6 plus 3 is 9. So my numerator is negative 9x plus 9. And the denominator is x squared plus x minus 6. Well, I can actually factor out a 9 from the numerator. So that will be 9 times negative x plus 1 all over x squared plus x minus 6. Actually, factoring out that negative 9 doesn't really provide you with any profit. So even if you leave it like this, it is okay. But remember, in the test, you will be supplied with the answer. The answer may be like this, or it may be like that one. You should be able to pick whatever is the appropriate one. Alright, another one. Add a big expression, 3 rational expressions. 2x squared plus 9x minus 15 over 2x squared minus 13x minus 20 minus 3x plus 10 over the same denominator minus 3x minus 5 over the same denominator. All 3 denominators are the same. What is our LCD? Our LCD is the same. 2x squared minus 13x minus 20. So we start by putting a big line and write the denominator below that line. We need to now construct the numerator. What is on our numerator? Alright, watch me. Now watch how I construct the numerator. We start by writing the first numerator, 2x squared plus 9x minus 15, followed by the minus sign, minus what? Minus this quantity. That means that must be inside a parenthesis, followed by this minus sign, minus what? Minus this quantity. Again, that quantity must be inside parenthesis. Very important. After the negative sign, the quantities need to be grouped using parentheses. So 2x squared plus 9x minus 15. Now I have used the parenthesis there just because I don't want to discriminate. But you don't need a parenthesis for the first quantity. Alright? Followed by the minus sign minus the quantity 3x plus 10. You require that parenthesis. You should never write this quantity after the negative sign without a parenthesis. What does it mean? This negative sign belongs to each of these terms. Alright, similarly, minus quantity 3x minus 5. Alright, in our next step, we distribute this negative 1 and this negative 1. Now, we don't need that parenthesis, so we can say that will be 2x squared plus 9x minus 15. Distribute that negative 1. Negative 1 times 3x is minus 3x. Negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. And now distribute this negative 1. Negative 1 times 3x is minus 3x. And negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. And now let's simplify what is inside that, what is on the numerator. 2x squared is alone. There is no other x squared term. And now 9x minus 3x minus 3x. Can you simplify that in your mind? 9x minus 3x minus 3x. Did you get it as a 3x? Alright. Minus 15 minus 10 plus 5 will be a negative 20. Is that right? Okay. So that will be 2x squared plus 3x minus 20 over the denominator 2x squared minus 13x minus 20. Alright, I hope you understood the method we used. Okay, let's now go and do another one. Add t squared over t minus 3 plus negative 3t over 3 minus t. Now, do you notice anything funny in this? Anything interesting? Or anything challenging? Okay. If you don't, tell me, look at the first denominator, t minus 3. The second denominator, 3 minus t. Is it possible for you to make both denominators the same? Yes, we can actually. We can make this 3 minus t can be written as, alright, tell me. Can you write 3 minus t as equal to negative of, well, 3 minus t is the same as negative of t minus 3. So you can make both denominators the same by factoring out a negative 1. We make the denominators the same by writing 3 minus t equal to negative of t minus 3. Let's do that. So this now becomes t squared over t minus 3 plus negative 3t over negative t minus 3. And if you notice the second expression, a negative quantity on the numerator, a negative quantity on the denominator, a negative divided by negative becomes positive. So actually these two negatives will disappear. So negative divided by negative becomes positive. So this will be t squared over t minus 3 plus 3t over t minus 3. I hope you understand that particular example. And now we have the denominators the same. That means that is the same as the LCD. So the LCD is t minus 3 and the numerator is t squared plus 3t. Became very simple. Okay, let's now go and talk about what do we do when the denominators are different. Well, we have done that already in adding rational numbers. When the denominators are different, we will find the LCD and then use the LCD to construct the numerator. Alright, let's see how we can do that. In order to add or subtract rational expressions, we need to find the least common denominator LCD for all the expressions. Now, let's consider a familiar problem which we have done several times. 5 over 6 plus 7 over 4 minus 2 over 15. We have done this several times. In fact, in the last lesson, I started with this. What is the LCD of 6, 4 and 15? Do you remember this? Alright, let's find the LCD of 6, 4 and 15. To do that, we need to factor each of these numbers. And 6 is 3 times 2, 4 is 2 times 2, and 15 is 3 times 5. Okay, how do we pick the LCD? To obtain the LCD, we pick the factors without repeating. So, we start by picking all the factors of the first, that is 3 times 2. So we have picked 3 times 2. We come to the second one and then say this 2 we don't need. Why? Because we have already picked a 2. But the second 2 we need. We have only picked 1 2. Since there are 2 2's in that number, we need the second 2. So pick that 2. Come to the third number, we say we don't need this 3 because a 3 has been picked, but we need this 5. So the LCD is 3 times 2 times 2 times 5. Now, in order to develop a method for adding or subtracting rational expressions, we are now going to leave that LCD in the factored form. We are not going to multiply to produce a number. Alright, so I'm going to leave, this is my LCD, 3 times 2 times 2 times 5. Okay, I want you to listen now carefully and see how I construct the numerator. Do you remember how to construct the numerator? Well, the method is very simple. Now, what is the method? First of all, we need to see what is the number you are going to multiply this 5 with. To get that number, what we do is you divide this LCD with this denominator. You see, the denominator here is 3 times 2. If you divide the LCD by 3 times 2, that 3 times 2 will cancel with the 3 times 2, leaving us with this 2 times 5. And it is this 2 times 5 that will multiply with that 5. And now, I'm going to rephrase it in another way, which is going to be useful to us when we do the algebraic expressions. So, the question is, what am I going to multiply this 5 with? Now, look at the way I'm going to decide. The factors on this denominator, on the first denominator, is 3 times 2. Tell me, out of this LCD, what are the factors that are missing in the first denominator? Did you understand my question? Look at the LCD. LCD is 3 times, 2 times, 2 times 5. Your first denominator is 3 times 2. What are the factors from the LCD that are missing here? The missing factors are 2 times 5. 3 times 2 is there. This 3 times 2 are here. What are missing here are 2 times 5. And therefore, the number you will multiply this 5 is those missing factors. Alright, I have written down that for you. To construct the numerator of the answer, we multiply the numerator of each fraction. Multiply the numerator of each fraction with those factors in the LCD that are missing in each of the denominators. Now, is that a very large, big sentence for you to understand? I'm going to say that again. To construct the numerator, we multiply each numerator here by the factors in the LCD that are missing in each denominator. For example, what is 5 going to be multiplied by? 5 is going to be multiplied by those factors in the LCD that are not in this denominator. 3 times 2 is there. 2 times 5 are not there. So this 5 is going to be multiplied by 2 times 5. The denominator of the first fraction on the left is 3 times 2. Now, what are the missing factors out of this? It's 2 times 5. That means this numerator 5 is now will be multiplied by that 2 times 5, and we will write it there. 5 is multiplied by 2 times 5. You understand why this 5 is multiplied by 2 times 5? Yes? Because if you divide the LCD with this number, what you get are the missing factors 2 times 5. And that is what you multiply there. Alright, follow that up with this plus sign. And now, what is this 7 going to be multiplied by? What are the factors of the LCD that is missing in this denominator? This denominator is 2 times 2. And there in the LCD you have those 2 times 2. But 3 times 5 are absent here. Therefore, this 7 will get multiplied by that 3 times 5. So, plus 7, see plus 7 is that plus. Plus 7 will get multiplied by 3 times 5 because of the LCD, this 3 and 5 are missing in that denominator. Okay, in that case, can you tell me what is this minus 2 going to be multiplied by? You understand when I say minus 2. This is minus. So what is this minus 2 going to be multiplied by? Its denominator is 3 times 5. And if you come to the LCD, there is 3 there, there is 5 there. But what is missing here that are here? 2 times 2. So this minus 2 will be multiplied by 2 times 2. So that will be minus 2 times 2 times 2. Alright, now let's simplify the numerator. That will be, I have now repeated that over here. What is now my numerator? 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 5 is 50. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 7 is, isn't it 105? Alright, minus 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So my numerator now is 50 plus 105 minus 8. And simplify that. 50 plus 105 is 155, and 155 minus 8 is 147. So the answer there is 147 over 60. Now what have we learned from this method? Well, first of all, we factor each denominator and pick the LCD without repeating factors. So we have 3 times 2 times 2 times 5 is the LCD. How do we construct the numerator? Well, to construct the numerator, we multiply each numerator of the rational expressions by those factors in the LCD that are missing on its denominator. So 5 is multiplied by the factors 2 times 5 that are missing here, and plus 7 is multiplied by those missing factors. What are the missing factors here? 3 times 5. And minus 2 is multiplied by the factors of the LCD that are missing here, that are 2 times 2. You see? A very easy way to construct your numerator. And we are going to use this now to add and subtract rational expressions. Okay, let's now do this. 6 over x squared plus 3 over 2x. Okay, first of all, we find the LCD. Is it difficult for you to find the LCD of that? This is the first denominator, and the first denominator is x squared. So we pick that x squared. Alright, when you come to the second denominator, it is 2 times x. Now, we pick the 2 because we haven't picked the 2. We don't need the x because we have already picked x times x. So the LCD is 2x squared. Alright, let's now use the LCD to add these two expressions. So 6 over x squared plus 3 over 2x. The LCD is 2x squared. Now tell me, what is this 6 going to be multiplied so that we can write here? Can you tell me from what we did so far? This 6 will be multiplied by the factor of the LCD that is not here. You see, this denominator is x squared. The LCD is 2x squared. Now what is missing here? What is missing here is a 2. So this 6 will get multiplied by 2. So look at the way I wrote it. The first denominator is missing a 2 out of the LCD. Therefore, its numerator 6 will get multiplied by that missing factor. There you are. So 2 is missing here. 2 is missing out of this LCD. That means this 6 will now get multiplied by that 2. And we write it there, 6 times 2. Followed by, now tell me, what is this plus 3 going to be multiplied by? Can you figure out? What is this plus 3 going to be multiplied by? Look at its denominator. Denominator is 2x. The LCD is 2x squared. Alright? Tell me, what is the factor that is missing here out of the LCD? It's an x. You see, 2x squared is 2x times x. That means that x is missing here. And we will multiply this 3 with that x. The second denominator is missing x out of the LCD. Therefore, we multiply its numerator positive 3 with that missing factor 3x. X is missing here, therefore multiply this 3 with the x. That will be 3 times x. Isn't that neat? That's a very good way of adding rational expressions. Once you understand it, you can never make a mistake. Alright, now simplify this. That will be 6 times 2 is 12 plus 3x over 2x squared, and that is the answer. Okay, let's go and do another one. Add 3 over 4xy cubed plus 1 over 6x squared y. Alright, let's find the LCD. 4xy cubed can be written as 2 squared times x times y cubed. Is that right? Those are the factors. I just separated them out. Alright, how do you write 6x squared y? 6 is 2 times 3 times x squared times y. Okay. Now look at the way I'm going to pick the LCD and look at these numbers. 2 squared 2. We will pick 2 squared, the bigger one. And then there is a 3 left. So our LCD will contain 2 squared times 3. And then x and x squared, we will pick x squared. Then y cube and y, we will pick y cube. So what is the LCD? The LCD is 2 squared times 3 times x squared times y cube. Did you understand that? It's always the bigger factor you pick for the LCD. So 2 squared, between 2 squared and 2, we pick the bigger factor 2 squared. And 3 and 1, we pick the 3. X and x squared, we pick the bigger factor x squared. Y cube and y, we picked y cube. So this is the LCD. 2 squared times 3 times x squared times y cube. Alright, let's leave the denominator like that. So the LCD is, now do not multiply into a bigger number. If you leave it like this, it will help us to find the missing factor in each of the denominators. So the common denominator LCD is 2 squared times 3 times x squared times y cube. Alright? Now tell me, what are you going to multiply this 3 with in order to write it on the numerator? If you understand the principle that I have been telling you, this 3 will be multiplied by those factors in the LCD that are not on this denominator. Now if you look at this, this is a 4. That is 2 squared. So 2 squared is there, but this 3 is not there. You see that? So this 3 is missing in that denominator. Now look at the x squared here and the x there. There is an x missing. And y cube is there. So what are the factors from the LCD that are missing here? It is a 3x. The first denominator is missing a 3x out of the LCD. So we multiply this numerator by that 3x. So 3x is missing here. I hope you can understand that. That means we multiply this 3 by that 3x and write it here. This 3 times the missing factor 3x. Alright, tell me then, what is this plus 1 going to be multiplied by? Let's find out. See, look at this. This 6 is 2 times 3. Let me write that down for you. That 6 is 2 times 3. There we are. Now, that means, if you look at this, this is 2 squared in the LCD. And there is only one 2 that is in that denominator. That means there is a 2 that is missing. There's a 3 is there. So, out of this 2 squared times 3, there is a 2 missing here. X squared is there. Now, y cube in the LCD and a y on that denominator. What is missing out of it? Y squared. So, what is missing in this denominator out of the LCD? If you keep track of it, it will be a 2y squared. There you are. The second denominator is missing a 2y squared out of the LCD. And therefore, the plus 1 will get multiplied by that 2y squared. I hope you understand how the 2y squared is missing here. You see, if you multiply 6x squared y with 2y squared, you will get this LCD. So that 2y squared of the LCD is missing there. We multiply the numerator positive 1 by that 2y squared. So that will be plus 1 times 2y squared. Okay? I hope you are getting it. You have to concentrate to get it. Don't sleep or think anything else. Just concentrate here. Now that will be 3 times 3x is 9x plus 2y squared over 12x squared y cube is the answer. Alright, this again has been a very good one. Practice this a couple of times on your own. Okay, another one. Add b over a minus b minus a plus b over b. Alright, can you tell me what the LCD is? The first denominator is a minus b. That is one factor. And the second denominator is b. There is nothing common between them. Therefore, the LCD is the product of the two. The LCD is b times a minus b. And so, we will therefore say this quantity equal to the LCD is b times a minus b. Alright, now help me construct the numerator. And the numerator is constructed by starting here. What do you multiply this b with? This b will be multiplied by the factor in the LCD that is not here. Now, what is the factor in the LCD that is not here? This b. So, we will multiply this b on the numerator with this b that is missing from its denominator. There you are. So, the first denominator is missing b out of the LCD. So, we multiply this b with that b. b times b. Alright, look at this. Minus the quantity a plus b. The second denominator, what is the second denominator missing? The second denominator is b. It is missing this a minus b. So, the second denominator is missing a minus b from the LCD. That means this quantity, what quantity? Minus of a plus b will be multiplied by that missing factor. So that will be minus, look at the way after minus, I put that a plus b in a parenthesis. Minus a plus b is multiplied by that factor in the LCD that is missing here, which is a minus b. Alright, now let's simplify this. Can you simplify? B times b is b squared minus, can you tell me this? What is a plus b times a minus b? You must tell me that. A plus b times a minus b is a squared minus b squared. Alright, so this will be b squared minus. Again, remember to write after the minus, whatever comes will be in a parenthesis. So it will be b squared minus, this will be parenthesis a squared minus b squared. And now you need to distribute that negative. Let's do that. That will be b squared minus 1 times a squared is minus a squared. And watch this. Minus 1 times negative b squared is plus b squared. So my numerator now is b squared minus a squared plus b squared. Simplify that. B squared plus b squared is 2b squared. So that is 2b squared minus a squared all over b times a minus b. Another extremely good problem. You see, I love these kind of problems. I hope you too spend some time making friends with these kind of problems. You see, it will improve your mental ability. I think so. I'm sure it is. Another one. Add 2m plus 1 over m minus 5 minus 4 over m squared minus 3m minus 10. Can you tell me what you will do here first? Well, in order to find the LCD, we've got to first of all factor the denominators. Now the first denominator is m minus 5, that is one factor. And the second denominator is m squared minus 3m minus 10. We need to factor that. That trinomial can be factored. Can you factor that for me? We have done enough number of factoring such terms. The coefficient of m squared is 1. That makes it easy. Look at the last term, minus 10. So what two numbers will multiply to give you negative 10 and add to give you negative 3? It must be a positive number and a negative number. Did you get it? Those two numbers are negative 5 and positive 2. Look at this. Negative 5 times positive 2 is negative 10. And negative 5 added to positive 2 is negative 3. And so what are the factors of m squared minus 3m minus 10? It is m minus 5 times m plus 2. Alright, factor the denominator. M minus 5 is the factor on the first denominator. The second denominator is, we factored it in our mind, is that right? M squared minus 3m minus 10 is m minus 5 times m plus 2. Alright, now we have to pick the LCD using these factors. And we should pick the factors, pick all the factors without repeating. So what is the LCD, can you tell me? We start picking the first factor, m minus 5. Then come to the second denominator and then say, I have already picked an m minus 5, I don't need it. And therefore I need to pick m plus 2. So the LCD is m minus 5 times m plus 2. Alright, so this is now our denominator. Look at the way I set it up. The LCD is m minus 5 times m plus 2. How do we construct the numerator? If you haven't understood it, this is the time to really get a grasp on this. Now, this quantity 2m plus 1, when I say quantity, it means you need to put that in a parenthesis. You see? This quantity 2m plus 1 will be multiplied by what? Multiplied by the factor in the LCD that is missing on this denominator. What is the factor in the LCD that is missing here? That is m plus 2. So this quantity 2m plus 1 in parentheses will be multiplied by this missing factor. I hope you understand when I say the missing factor. This m plus 2 is missing on that denominator. So that will be 2m plus 1 times m plus 2. And now, watch the sign here, minus 4. What is this minus 4 going to be multiplied by? The minus 4 will be multiplied by those factors in the LCD that are missing in this denominator. Now, but you notice that there are no factors missing in that denominator. Both factors of the LCD are in this denominator. There are no missing factors here. When there are no missing factors, what you will be multiplying with will be a 1. That's right, a 1. So this negative 4 will be getting multiplied by 1. Why? Because no factors are missing. If you divide this LCD by this quantity, they are both the same, you get a 1. So this minus 4 will be multiplied by 1. And now, look at this. You need to multiply here 2m plus 1 times m plus 2. Can you multiply that? Now, look at the way I'm going to do that. Watch the motion of my pointer. You first multiply both these with 2m. 2m times m is 2m squared. And 2m times plus 2 is plus 4m. We finished multiplying 2m. Now come to the positive 1. Positive 1 times m is positive m. And positive 1 times 2 is positive 2. There you are. One more time. 2m times m is 2m squared. And 2m times 2 is plus 4m. 1 times m is m. Plus 1 times 2 is plus 2. So this is the multiplication of these two terms. Minus 4 times 1 is minus 4. Now simplify this. 2m squared is on its own. 4m plus m is 5m. And 2 minus 4 is minus 2. So this will be 2m squared plus 5m minus 2 all over the LCD. That was a very neat one. Okay, please try this one more time on your own and especially practice constructing the numerator. That's very important for you. Alright, let's go and do another one. Add 4 over 2p minus 1 times p plus 4 minus 3 over p plus 4 times p minus 4. Okay. Can you pick the LCD here? The denominators are factored already. So, you can now pick the LCD. How do you pick the LCD? Pick all the factors without repeating. So, to pick the LCD, start by picking all the factors of the first denominator. 2p minus 1 times p plus 4. So, we pick both that. And now go to the second one and look at each factors and decide whether you need to pick it. P plus 4. Do we need to pick it? No. Why not? We have already picked it. P minus 4. Do we need to pick it? Yes. Why? Because we haven't got a P minus 4 there. So what is the LCD? Is 2P minus 1 times P plus 4 times P minus 4. Now before we proceed, we can make a little conversation here. Tell me, of the 3 factors of the LCD, which factor is missing in the first denominator? Is P minus 4. So what will this 4 get multiplied by? That P minus 4. Alright? Of the 3 factors of the LCD, what factor is missing in the second denominator? A 2P minus 1 is missing there. That means this minus 3 will get multiplied by that factor. Isn't it easy? Yes. Alright, let's go. So this is now, I have just copied this and pasted there, equal to, this is the LCD. We now need to construct our numerator. Well, we already talked about it. What is this 4 going to be multiplied by? This 4 will be multiplied by the factor in the LCD that is missing here, and that is P minus 4. So that will be 4 times P minus 4. And what is this minus 3 going to be? You always watch that sign. What is that minus 3 going to be multiplied by? The factor on the LCD that is missing here, that will be 2P minus 1. So that will be minus 3 times 2P minus 1. Our next step is multiply or distribute and simplify. There we go. 4 times P is, let's do it mentally first. Distribute the 4. 4 times P is 4P. 4 times negative 4 is minus 16. And minus 3 times 2P is minus 6P. And watch it here. Minus 3 times minus 1 is positive 3. Alright, so we have 4P minus 16 minus 6P plus 3 is our numerator. And simplify that. 4P minus 6P is a negative 2P. And minus 16 plus 3 is a negative 13. So, again, 4P minus 6P is a negative 2P. And minus 16 plus 3 is minus 13. So my numerator is simplified as negative 2P minus 13, and the denominator is the LCD. Okay? I'm sure you're feeling much better about it now. Okay, let's go and do another one. X plus 2y all over x squared minus xy minus 2y squared minus y over x squared minus 3xy plus 2y squared. Well, what's the method here? Start by factoring the denominators. Can you factor the denominators? Factor the denominator. Let's factor the first denominator. X squared minus xy minus 2y squared. X squared can be factored as x times x. Okay, now factor the negative 2y squared for me, keeping in mind that the middle term is going to be a negative 1xy. When you factor a negative 2y squared, it's going to be a positive times a negative. Now, since when you add, you've got to get a negative number, you've got to factor negative 2y squared as negative 2y times positive y. negative 2y times positive y. That is very clear to you. Now look at this. Y times x is xy minus 2xy. Positive xy minus 2xy is minus xy. So what are the factors of this denominator? The factors of the denominator are x minus 2y times x plus y. We will leave it here. Let's go and factor the second denominator. Alright, x squared is x and x. And now if you notice, the middle term is negative 3xy. The last term is positive 2y squared. The middle term is negative, the last term is positive, which means both factors of the last term must be negative. And there is only one choice. It will be negative 2y and negative y. Negative 2y times negative y is positive 2y squared, and negative xy minus 2xy is negative 3xy. Alright? And so what are the factors? X minus 2y times x minus y. Let's write them now with the factored form. So, this is now x plus 2y over, this trinomial factored is x minus 2y times x plus y minus y divided by, this trinomial factored is x minus 2y times x minus y. We have now got the denominators factored. Can you take the LCD now? What is the LCD? Well, to find the LCD, we start picking both these factors. X minus 2y times x plus y. Well, when you come to the second one, do we need the x minus 2y? It has been picked already. But x minus y, we need it because it hasn't been picked. So LCD is x minus 2y times x plus y times x minus y. So we will now write this whole expression equal to, you see, this whole expression equal to, this is the LCD. Now help me construct the numerator. The first numerator is x plus 2y, the quantity x plus 2y. What will this be multiplied by? That will be multiplied by that factor in the LCD that is missing here. What is the missing factor? X minus y. So x plus 2y is multiplied by the missing factor x minus y. What is this minus y going to be multiplied by? What is the factor that is missing here out of the LCD? That is x plus y. So that will be minus y times x plus y. Our next task is to multiply these two quantities. Well, we have done a lot of those there, so I'm going to now write it for you. X times x is x squared. X times negative y is minus xy. Plus 2y times x is plus 2xy. And plus 2y times negative y is minus 2y squared. Distribute the negative y. Negative y times x is minus xy. And negative y times y is minus y squared. Alright, now combine like terms on the numerator. That will be x squared alone plus x, look at this now, minus xy is minus 2xy, and that minus 2xy will cancel with the plus 2xy. You understand that? And now minus 2y squared minus y squared is minus 3y squared. And therefore our answer here is x squared minus 3y squared over the LCD. Now, it will really pay off if you go back and do this on your own. You see, only when you do it on your own, you can be sure you know it. Okay? Alright, now we have done a variety of problems in adding and subtracting rational expressions. I want you to go and practice all of these. Do the homework and make sure that you really understand that concept. Alright? When you have trouble, look at the solutions that I have given. And there is one more lesson left in here, and I will get back to you with that lesson later on.